thank you for joining us this nice summer day as we worship outside and we can be around God's creation. Now, let's read from God's scripture from Matthew chapter 11, 16 through 19, and 28 through 30. To what can I compare this generation? They are like children, sitting in the marketplace calling out, "We played a flute for you, and you did not dance. We sang a dirge, and you did not mourn." For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they said, "He is a demon." The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they said, "Here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners." But wisdom is proved right by her deeds. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and lean on me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. There's a hymn that I just love, and it's "What a Friend I Have in Jesus." It's a simple hymn. Its message isn't complicated. It says it in its title, but it connects and it resonates with me. Our scripture today is about Jesus being a friend to people who may otherwise not have had friends. Tax collectors and sinners weren't people that people flocked to. They weren't the most popular people around in that time, and yet he ate and drank with them. He was their friend, and because he was their friend, people called him a glutton and a drunkard, because of the people he hung out with. This scripture really made me think about high school, because when you're in high school, there's always the one kid that's a little less popular than everyone else. And sometimes people are afraid if they hang out with that person that they may be seen as like them, that they may become unpopular as well. I mean, often that leaves that one child to be alone, without a friend. There was a story I read about a teen in a high school in South Carolina. He had a neurological disorder and had undergone so many surgeries, but he was a little different than everyone else. And because of that, every day he sat alone at the lunch table by himself. His mother would text him and say, "Are you eating by yourself or is someone with you?" And every day he'd text back, "No, it's just me, Mom." And she'd pray. She'd pray to God that someone would come and sit at that table with him. Then, one day, some of the members of the student council decided that they were going to go over and sit at his table, so he'd have someone else to eat lunch with. And they ate lunch with him every day after that. This child said how much of a difference it made in his life to have people that would come and eat with him, people to share his emotions with, someone to be a friend to. The sinners and the tax collectors weren't well liked, and they may have likewise eaten alone. I wonder if that kid felt the same way the sinners and the tax collectors felt when Jesus came and ate with them. I mean, to have someone come and eat with you when you have no one else has to mean something. I wonder in our society today how people feel when they can't communicate digitally. I mean, so much of our society with COVID has gone online, and if you don't understand how to use Zoom or FaceTime or any of the other digital means that we have, you might feel left out too in this world we live in. We don't always know, though, who needs a friend. I mean, once you exit high school, it's not as easy as just looking around and seeing who's friendless at the lunch table. Now, especially with COVID, people who are lonely eat in their rooms, homes, alone, by themselves. There's no one around to see them or to join them. There was a song by Mike Posner that came out in 2016. It was the first time that he was in the Billboard Top 10 for over 6 years. And by all means, this song that he produced and let out was a great success that really helped launch his entire career. It was a song about being a failed singer, a millennial that fell into the allure of making wrong decisions and leading to a life of loneliness and confusion. It was a song about how he had done nothing but wasted his life and was now alone with nothing. When he first recorded the song, it was melancholy. There was an acoustic guitar in the background, and the notes he sang were long and deep. But then there was a DJ that came in, and he thought that he could make the song better. So he remixed it. So he digitally added some upbeat background music and got rid of that acoustic guitar. He digitally changed the vocals that Mike Posner sang to make it so it was no longer long, wailing notes, but short, choppy, high-pitched ones instead. He was still singing the same words, but with the digital and computer changes, the whole thing this had a different feel to it. He may have been saying sad words. He may have been saying, "I'm stuck up on this stage singing, and all I know is sad songs. I'm just a singer who already blew his shot." He said sad things, but with all of the changes behind it, it sounded upbeat and happy. His first acoustic version that was sad and emotional and heartfelt didn't reach the Billboard Top 10s, as I'm sure you probably know. The other version did. The version that the DJ remixed to make that sad song into something happy. Mike Posner, when he's on concert, still sings this song. And when he sings the DJ's version, because that's the one that people want to hear. But he always adds an extra verse. A verse with that original heartfelt message to it, and the acoustic guitar in the background, about his pain and his loneliness, what the song was really about. We can all get trapped. We can think that we're the only one that feels the way we do, but really, we're not. When we go back to the passage, it says, "I played the flute for you, and you did not dance. And I sang a dirge or a funeral song, and you did not mourn." We often don't know what others are feeling. We are like children sometimes. We think of ourselves first, and we're happy when we're happy, and we're sad when we're sad. But we don't follow the emotions of other people. We miss the point of their song. We hear the songs that we want to hear and feel the emotions that we want to hear. But the song inside people's heart is different. We can walk past people and accept that they are fine because that's the words they say out of their mouth. But really, when we see their face, we can know that they are not fine, that there's something deeper down that is hurting them. Do we really know what our friends and our family feel? Do we even know what we feel? Now, keeping with the theme of music, there's another song I'd like to discuss. One that'll probably resonate better with those of you who have no idea who Mike Posner is. It was Otis Redding's releasing of "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" after his death. It was the first U.S. Billboard #1 to be released posthumously, because Otis died a few days after recording the song in a plane crash. The song was finished after his death, with his producer adding the sounds of waves and seagulls into the background. It had a similar feel in many ways to Mike Posner's song, about being left, leaving the world behind, and finding the life you've gained lonely and sad. He sang, "I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay, 'cause I have nothing to live for, and look like nothing's coming my way. And this loneliness won't leave me alone." The biggest difference between this song and Mike Posner's song is that this song was never changed. If you heard this song, you know that it keeps the same melancholy feel that it was originally written with. If you listen to it, you can feel the emotion in it. You feel the pain and loneliness. You know what he went through, and this song connects with you. Because we all have felt like we're just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Especially now with COVID. I mean, who hasn't felt like these last few months haven't in some way just kind of been wasting time, waiting for things to happen at some undisclosed later date? But if we go back to that hymn, the hymn that started it all, what a friend we have in Jesus. What a friend we have in Jesus. There's more to that song than just asking about a friend named Jesus, because many of us have experienced loneliness and troubles. I mean, this is not the 4th of July weekend that we are expecting. There's not large groups of people joining around to watch fireworks. We're not surrounded by families and friends. But we always have our friend in Jesus. There's a reason why there's many sad songs, but there's no sad hymns. Sadly, sadness and loneliness are part of the human condition, whether it's 1968, 2016, or 2020. But it's not part of our spiritual condition. Our friend Jesus calls us, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden light." Can we find a friend so faithful who will all our sorrows share as Jesus? So, if you're disappointed with the lack of celebration that we have this 4th of July from coast to coast, or if you're disappointed in not being able to do the normal things that you do, if you are suffering and lonely and feel like no one else understands what you're going through, remember, you are not alone. And with all of your sufferings, you can bring it to Christ. Nothing is too small for God. Share your yoke with Him. Be with Him. Let Jesus be your comforter.